Okay, everyone, we are reacting to her story.
Doctor told me I couldn't get in the water with a prosthetic leg. Liability issue, he said. If something happened, I wouldn't be able to swim back to shore. I smiled, said okay, and paddled out anyway. He came after me, shouting over the waves to come in before I hurt myself or someone else. I was already standing. He pulled alongside me, still yelling, reached over to grab my board, and that's when I saw the fin. The shark hit his board from below and launched him sideways into the water. He stayed
Karma.
long enough that I started counting. When he finally came thrashing up, he was grabbing at anything within reach. His hands found my ankle. I felt the pull before I heard it, a hard pop, like a cork, and he broke the surface, waving my prosthetic in the air while the shark disappeared with his leg, his actual leg. I hauled him onto my board and kicked us back to shore on one leg, mine. He lived. He lost the leg just below the knee and has not been near the ocean since. The surf school needed someone to cover his classes. I start Monday. My surf instructor, while driving home from date night, my husband
straight karma. For being rude
watch
to
out,
a guy.
swerved into a ditch. Next thing I knew, I was in a hospital bed listening as the doctors told my husband, your wife is in a coma. I remember my chest going cold because I could hear everything around me. My husband crying, the machines beeping, but I couldn't move no matter how hard I tried. My husband took my hand, but then the doctors left, and I heard my husband instantly pull out his phone. The plan worked. She's in a coma. List our house for sale right now. I'll forge her signature if I have to. It will all be over in 7 days. My heart dropped.
Idiot. Bro, doctors would even tell. Idiot.
Through my stomach.
I feel like one of his arms are about to get taken off from something.
To understand what
He's
he was
gonna
doing.
get caught.
I listened to him tell whoever he was on the phone to move money from our joint account and sell my car, and he kept repeating 7 days. I wanted to scream because the man I'd married was betraying me while I was in a coma, but my body stayed still. He got off the phone and whispered in my ear, thanks for everything, darling. Now I'll go be with the woman I actually love.
You know she can
Listened to
still
his
hear you,
footsteps
right?
moving away, and then I heard it. He kissed someone, and I realized he was making out with his mistress 5 feet from his comatose wife. For the next 7 days, every time the doctors came in, he would grip my hand, cry, acting like the heartbroken husband, then immediately start making phone calls once they left. I felt like a caged animal because I knew once I woke up, I would expose him. But then on the 7th day, he laughed. Today's the day. I heard him pull something from his pocket and call out, doctor. Doctors ran in, and I heard the sound of him placing paper in their hands. This is a document my wife wrote 2 years ago. It states if she ever goes into a coma, she wants me to pull the plug after 7 days instead of bankrupting myself to keep her hooked. My stomach went cold. I realized my husband was trying to kill me, and there was nothing I could do. I tried screaming, moving my feet, anything to let them know I was alive, but the doctors were already telling him, okay, you may have your last goodbye. They left the room, and he sat down in the bed next to me, then leaned in my ear. Her name is Anastasia, by the way, and she's so much better than you. The doctors came back in, and my husband immediately burst into tears again. I can't watch. They started reaching for my plug as I tried curling my hands. Goodbye, my love, my husband cried, and that's when I sat up, dry heaving and hyperventilating. I heard everything. I started yelling about the forgery, the accounts, the fake documents. My husband instantly went pale and ran out, but it didn't matter. I was alive, and 3 weeks later, I was sitting in a courtroom while he sat across from me in handcuffs. The judge banged his gavel and sentenced him to 20 years for attempted murder of a spouse. I watched with a smile as he was escorted out in handcuffs. Now he was the one who couldn't move. While driving home, I downloaded a ghost radar.
I'm not gonna lie, that video was cool. We're gonna be watching a lot of these. We're gonna watch like 10 more of these, probably like
app at 3 a.m. and it pointed at the
videos
room in the hallway. My older brother Zick rolled his eyes. It's just picking up our phone signal. Ghosts aren't real. My little brother grabbed the phone and ran into the kitchen. Look, every time the phone goes somewhere else, the green dot stays by the door. There really is a ghost in there. We all crept down the long hallway together, and the dot flashed brighter with every step. I looked over at Zick, and even he was shaking. We heard a slow, dragging sound behind the door, and we all grabbed each other in fear. Zick grabbed the back of my shirt and whispered, let's just go back to bed. It's the one room in the house no one ever goes into. But my little brother laughed. You're a baby. I knew you'd be too scared to go through with this. I clenched my fists because I was sick of being pushed around by my brothers. Fine, I'll open it, but only if I get control over the TV remote for 2 weeks. They both groaned and nodded, but when I put my hand on the doorknob, I heard scratching sounds against the window, and I didn't even know if the TV remote would be worth it. But I shut my eyes. Here goes nothing. The door swung open, and when I opened my eyes, a homeless man was sitting against the far wall, a blanket pulled up to his chest, his phone plugged into our socket, with food wrappers scattered all around him. My brothers gasped, and he stared right at me. You 3 are usually asleep at this time, he said calmly. A person had been living in the room at the end of our hall, and the Ghost Radar app found him using his phone signal. All 3 of us.
It's not even that bad. He's just a homeless person.
screamed for our parents, but the homeless man just shrugged. I guess my time here is up. And as he walked out, the green dot was still sitting right on him. I won the remote for 2 weeks, but he'd had way longer, with all 3 of us asleep down the hall. I downloaded a Ghost Radar app at 3
But you're
a.m.
not gonna be scared about him since he's so nice.
I was in the living room filming the viral Get Sturdy dance when my dad got up off the couch and said, "I always been a dancer. Watch this." He tried one move and nearly threw his hip out, grabbing the counter to catch himself. I laughed so hard I fell on the carpet. "Dad, you can't move like you used to." He stood up straight, fixed his shirt, and looked me dead in the eye. "I used to kill it at every party back in my day. I'm going to become the best dad TikTok dancer." I kept laughing, but he just smirked. "Watch me." That weekend, he came home carrying a ring light and one of those electronic tripods that spins to follow you while you dance. "Dad, what is all that for?" He set the boxes down and said, "I've been researching the creator meta." That night, I walked past the garage and he was drilling the same 15 seconds over and over in front of a full-length mirror, sticky notes of trending sounds all over the wall. His first video got 40 views, and I caught him on the couch rewatching it himself, but he kept posting every day, and by Friday, he shoved his phone in my face because one of his videos cracked 10,000 overnight. He rewarded himself with a new phone just for filming. That Saturday, me and my friend were filming the Savage Dance, the one with all the hair flips and hip rolls, and my dad asked to jump in. We laughed in his face, but this time he did the entire thing in one take, every hit cleaner than ours, hair flip and all, with the most serious face I've ever seen. We posted it, and it blew up overnight, except every comment was about him. By the end of the week, my own dad had more followers than me, and I was the one asking him which sounds were trending. A few days later, I came home from school and heard music blasting from the garage. I opened the door, and my whole friend group was in there under his ring light, taking dance lessons from my dad. He was walking down the line calling counts, and when the beat dropped, he hit the same move that almost took him out in the living room. Clean, no counter, no stumble, and my friends started screaming like he was famous. That night, I found...
What about counter? Oh, I think there's like 2 things of counter. Like, the first, a counter, like, falling probably, and then the second one is like a counter in a game.
him on the couch, right where it all started. "Okay, you got lucky. I'm still the better dancer, though." He didn't even look up, just turned his phone around. His follower count was double mine. Then he stood up, hit one slow hip roll on his way out of the living room, and said, "Told you to watch me." I was in the living room filming the...
Bro, why did they make
Every
his
year on
butt
my daughter's
like
birthday,
that?
I was in the living room filming the viral Get Sturdy... I was in the living room filming the viral Get Sturdy dance when my dad got up off the couch and said,
I want to see that
Answer
again.
though. He didn't even look up, just turned his phone around. His follower count was double
Everyone
mine.
right
Then he
here,
stood
look at
up,
his
hit
butt.
one slow hip roll on his way out of the living room, and said... Every year
That's
on my
funny.
daughter's birthday, my mother-in-law would push my daughter out of the way on the dance floor and start dancing to steal her thunder. Last year, I finally had enough and pulled her aside to confront her, but she clenched her fists. In my childhood, I never got a birthday party, so when there's a dance floor, that's my time to shine. You don't get to take that from me. I smirked. "Okay, next time I'm going to let you steal my daughter's dance." Trisha rolled her eyes. Good. It's not that big of a deal, but she wasn't ready for
Actually,
what I
yeah,
had
it is.
planned. A year later, on my daughter's
Yeah, that's actually...
16th birthday, I came into the venue to prepare the dance floor. I laid a glittering star in the dead center of the floor, aimed a disco light straight down at it, and I grinned because I knew Trisha wouldn't be able to resist dancing on it. Little did she know that I'd specifically chosen this venue because under the dance floor was a swimming pool, except I'd convinced the owner to let me fill it with chocolate milk, and under the star was a trap door leading directly into it. Everyone started filing in, and after a few hours, Amber started making her way to the center for her Sweet 16 dance. She was about to step onto the star when suddenly, Trisha pushed her out of the way. "This is my time to shine." Trisha threw her arms up into the light and stomped both feet onto the star. Suddenly, she dropped straight through the trapdoor and into the pool, her $1,000 dress and fresh blowout going under in a wave of chocolate
Whoa,
milk. The disco light
1,000?
swung down and locked.
I don't think dresses are $1,000, dude. Yeah, I don't think they're $1,000.
I was in a conga line on a cruise ship when I heard someone screaming in the ocean.
Alright, 5 more left after this.
Instantly broke free of the line to see what was going on, but suddenly a man at the front grabbed my shoulders and shoved me back into the line. "Don't do that again. Ignore it." Goosebumps went up my arms, and I knew something was very wrong. I stomped on his foot, yanked free, and reached the railing just as a pregnant woman surfaced in the water screaming, "Help! I can't swim! He pushed me!" I screamed and pointed at her. "There's a woman drowning in the water!" But the man cupped his hands around his mouth. "She's kidding, folks! Keep it moving!" And the line danced past me like I was part of the show. I leaned over the railing, and the woman was completely still.
Yes, we'll do his story next time. But that's gonna be like in a few days.
Now, with her head tipped back and her mouth just breaking the surface. My heart was slamming because I knew she didn't have long. So I ripped the DJ's cable out of the speaker and the music died mid-beat. There's a woman in the water. She can't swim. Someone needs to rescue her. 200 people hit the railing, and the same line that was dancing 30 seconds ago locked wrists down the ladder, every hand gripping each other's. They hauled the woman over the
this because I think this video is already like 10 minutes long.
coughing up seawater. She kept one arm on her pregnant belly and weakly raised the other to point at the man who forced me not to save her. That's my husband. He started the conga so nobody would hear the splash. He doesn't want to raise our daughter together. He backed toward the stairwell, palms up. That's not true. She fell. She's drunk. She fell, but I planted myself across the steps and didn't move. Security zip-tied his hands to the railing. His wife went over. Behind us,
Dude, you should have pushed him down the stairs. That's what you should have done. You should have climbed up there and just grabbed his arm and went in front of him and just pushed him. That's what you should do.
speakers crackled back on, playing that same conga song to an empty dance floor. I was in a conga line on a cruise ship. My son Harry was crying when I picked him up from school saying, Mr. Wilson gave me a month of detention and a 0 for the unit. I asked him, what happened? He said the Great Wall of China is the only man-made thing you can see from space. So I took out my space book and showed him astronauts proved that's wrong since the wall is too skinny and blends into the ground. But he called me a
What? The Great Wall of China.
space. So I took out my space book and showed him astronauts proved that's wrong since the wall is too skinny
What?
and blends
Hold up, you're not a boy. She might have got reincarnation.
Asked him, what happened? He said the Great Wall of China is the only man-made thing you can see from space. So I took out my space book and showed him astronauts proved that's wrong since the wall is too skinny and blends into the ground. But he called me a liar and took my book. I'm a NASA astronaut, so I thought one conversation would clear this up. But when I found Mr. Wilson, I told him I could explain the fact, but he rolled his eyes. I don't need space facts from a parent. He tapped his book. The curriculum says the wall is visible from space, so that's what I teach. So I went to the principal instead, but she crossed her arms. I'm not going against a teacher who's been here 20 years because of one small fact. That's when I decided to take action. The next day, I walked into Harry's class and Mr. Wilson looked annoyed until I slid my NASA
My teacher's been teaching for like 12 years
badge
now.
and flight ID across his desk, and he was shocked. I'm a NASA astronaut. Can I talk to the class about space?
For like 18 years.
Kids got excited and started begging him to say yes, so he agreed. But his face fell when I put my own photos and videos from space up on the projector. The Great Wall is actually very difficult to see, even from up in space. Astronauts need zoom lenses to see it. A boy asked, so what can you see? I clicked through the pictures. Cities at night, huge dams, rivers, farms, but no wall. A girl raised her hand, but Mr. Wilson said it's in our textbook. I picked up the book. This was printed in 1985 and has outdated information. Mr. Wilson kept getting redder as I put up quote after quote from astronauts saying the wall isn't visible from space. Then the principal
Bro, it's always Mr. Wilson. True.
walked in, and that's when I turned to Mr. Wilson. Now, where is the book you took from my son? The principal instantly
Yeah, I
glared
feel
at
like
him.
every teacher she makes is Mr.
He
Wilson.
pulled it from his drawer and gave it back to Harry. But I wasn't done. I called an astronaut and she answered floating on the space station and waved at the class. The whole room gasped in excitement. Everything Harry told you is true. I've looked for the Great Wall from up here and it isn't there. The class nodded, finally understanding. And by that afternoon, Harry's 0 and detention were undone while Mr. Wilson got sent to a workshop on teaching science that's actually correct.
Alright, see you guys next time.